Hello. Today we're going to talk about environmental stewardship. This may be a new concept for some of you, so we're going to start off with a few definitions. The word stewardship is the job of supervising and taking care of something. It's basically the ethic that embodies the responsible planning and management of resources. The concepts of stewardship can be applied to the environment and nature, to health, property, even information and cultural resources. For our purposes, we're talking about the environment. Environmental stewardship is the actions taken by individuals, groups, or network of actors with various motivations and levels of capacity to protect and care for or be responsible for the use of the environment. As farmers, we are custodians of the land, and we don't only think of the land as something to benefit from today, but also for future generations to come. That means that our practices, whilst generating current food and incomes for our family, should also protect it from misuse so that it's there for future generations to farm. Essentially, environmental stewardship is about planning and management of land so it's left in a better state than when we found it. There are essentially 6 components that we can actually consider the environment. There's air, water, ecosystems, land, energy, and materials. When we're essentially talking about air, we're talking about sustaining clean and healthy air. In the same way with water, we don't want our farming practices to affect the flows of our rivers or even affect the quality of water that is being consumed by our communities and contaminating waterways. With ecosystems, we're looking to protect and restore ecosystems so that they can function and provide goods and services, not only for our farming practices, but also to support our communities. When we think of land, we're thinking about supporting ecologically sensitive land management and development. We don't want our farming practices to contribute to deforestation or vast land degradation and erosion. When we're talking about energy, less so about generating energy, but actually using the resources that we do have far more efficiently. And for materials, we're talking about consuming less and reducing waste. How can we reduce the waste that's on the farm? And how can we make sure that we're not consuming unnecessary resources to generate the food that we are producing? There are 3 key central components to this. One are the actors. Individuals or groups who are taking care of the resources. There's also, we need to consider the capacity of the communities who take stewardship action. And we have to think about the motivation. What actually motivates people to take action? Stewardship may be led by many different stakeholders. Governments, for example, may use incentives to encourage farmers to adopt practices. And this is what happens in the UK. Industries may want to demonstrate to consumers and government that they are being good custodians of the land. Companies also may want to demonstrate to customers that they are committed to sourcing responsibly and apply environmental stewardship to their business and to their supply chains. So why is environmental stewardship important in PGS? Well, the roots of PGS come out of the organic movement. And whilst in our project, we are not necessarily aiming for organic production of peppercorn, the principles that motivate farmers to adopt organic practices is being leveraged here to address challenges related to food safety, particularly around the overuse and misuse of inputs such as pesticides and maybe fertilizers. It is for this reason that the environmental stewardship is important for PGS. We want to encourage PGS farmers and the buyers of their product to be proud of their role as custodians of the land and see it as a responsibility to ensure that it's there to support communities and future generations. PGS provides a supporting framework for this environmental stewardship. So we can adopt environmental stewardship in a number of ways in PGS. One is to include the guiding principles in the code of practice. The other way is for it to become the guiding principles of PGS, promoting a sense of community commitment to protecting the resources rather than the burden of one farmer. It could equally be embedded in pledges and contracts that are made between buyers and sellers. We will spend a little bit more time in other lessons looking at environmental stewardship as part of the code of practice and a part of how we're actually going to engage and work with farmers as we go forwards in this programme.